if you have a newborn baby and you need to change their diaper 10 times and you don't have a diaper, that means you feel like a failure as a parent 10 times a day during this period of time that's already so hard. For so many families, that's their reality every single day.
Be Inspired podcast. Real stories from real people. Sharing stories of love and loss, struggles and perseverance, laughter and tears, and overcoming adversity.
Sometimes it's the little things in life. It's the small contributions that could really have the biggest impact on individuals around us. And coming up today on Be Inspired, we're going to meet an incredible individual who day to day helps out those who have the hardest job in the world, and that is being a mom. Hi, I'm Bert Barron.
And I'm Lisa Anderson.
And welcome to Be Inspired. Now, this is right up your alley, right, as a mom, Lisa.
Yes.
And you know that being a mother is maybe the toughest job in the world, right?
And unpaid, well, money anyway, but it's
Gotcha.
paid back in other things, yeah.
All right. Well, we are real excited to welcome to today's edition of Be Inspired the founder, co-executive director, and board member of an organization that helps out moms everywhere, every day. The group is called the Moms Helping Moms Foundation, and it is great to welcome Bridget Cutler to Be Inspired. Bridget, welcome. It's so great to have you with us here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Would you agree that being a mom is maybe the toughest job in the world?
Yes, and I used to work in public accounting, so that
That's nothing.
Talk about the origins, if you would, of Moms Helping Moms. How did it get started?
Sure. So I had my first child in 2011, and I had actually left. I was working in the city in finance and wanted to do something different. I left to get my master's in education. So during that time, I had my daughter, and I was kind of just in the mindset of wanting to do a little bit more. I had been used to a very hectic work schedule, Around that time, I was reading a news article, and it was about a mother who gave her baby up for adoption because she could not afford enough formula. And the quote that really got me was about not being able to listen to her daughter cry from hunger anymore. So she had to make the decision to actually give that child up. And that, as I'm sitting there holding my brand new, first baby, that was just devastating. So I decided, there's got to be something I can do right now. I lived in Hoboken, which is pretty economically diverse, and we lived next to a building that was low-income housing. So, and I had a lot of new mom friends. So I reached out to them, and I said, hey, if you guys have things you don't need, or we were all getting kind of inundated with gifts and these kinds of things, and I had 3 of everything because I have 4 older siblings who all had children before me. So I just took up a collection, and I just really wanted to donate it somewhere, to get it out to moms that needed it. And once I got to that step in the process, I couldn't find any place that would take them. There's so many amazing nonprofits in New Jersey, but as anyone who's worked at a nonprofit knows, they're all pretty, you work a lot, you don't make a lot of money, and everybody is typically stretched so thin. So it wasn't that they didn't want to help these families, but nobody had the capacity or the storage or the staff to kind of manage that sort of thing. So here I am, I have all these donations and nowhere to give them to. So I just started giving them out on my own. I actually started right out of my garage. I handed out some flyers. I set up everything kind of like a garage sale, and I just allowed people to come and take whatever they needed for free. So that was 10 years ago. We've gone through a lot of different transformations since then, but we're still at the heart of it doing the same thing. We're helping parents by providing them with the essentials for their babies.
That's awesome. First of all, you look like a kid herself, right? Doesn't she? Really. And isn't it ironic how it's so easy to find people in need. You don't have to look far. It's usually right in your neighborhood, and how it grows. Like you said, you started off with stuff in your garage. I did that 2 years ago. I'm talking maybe 25, 30 years ago. And it never ceases to amaze me how you're sitting there reading an article in the newspaper, and there your life just took
Yeah.
a turn down this path that is just, has grown and taken you to so many different places and met so many people, along with the lack of essentials, the formula and all. Don't you find, Bridget, that there's the emotional aspect of the moms to deal with?
Absolutely. I mean, as a mom yourself, or even if you're not a parent, it's not hard to imagine that if you have a newborn baby and you need to change their diaper 10 times and you don't have a diaper, that means you feel like a failure as a parent 10 times a day during this period of time that's already so hard. So, yeah, it's really, having done this now for 10 years, these are solvable problems. Nobody should be wrapping their children in, newspapers because they can't afford a diaper. But unfortunately, there aren't any existing programs, through the state or through the federal government that are helping families with these types of things. So we're one of the only places that families in New Jersey can turn to if they need these things. We're hoping that will change down the road. We've been involved in advocacy work, and we've gone down to DC and lobbied our representatives to try to get some help for families. It's a really huge problem for so many people, but almost nobody knows about it. People, when you tell them that, food stamps don't buy diapers, like Eminem said, it's true. And people,
It's crazy.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
We've actually just recently also started accepting and donating period supplies because there's a lot of the same kind of issues. If you don't have a diaper, you can't take your child out of the house. And if you're a woman or a young girl and you don't have period supplies that you need, you're not leaving the house. So that was kind of a natural addition for us. But again, these are really solvable issues. And I think the way we're going to get there is doing things like this, getting the word out and doing more advocacy work.
Well, it's great work, obviously, that the foundation has done for the last 10 years. And Bridget, I almost equate it as being able to combat hunger in the community, where there's so much work that goes into it, and it's all hands on deck, and the work is tireless, and you get a bag of donated food to a family who needs it, and it's like, that's great, but they're going to be back tomorrow. They're going to be hungry again. Right. And that talked about the constant demand for what you do, where it's like a tidal wave that just never stops. And I'm sure we've seen the economy over the last 10, 15 years has been an absolute roller coaster. We had a downturn 10 or 15 years ago. We're trying to come out of a pandemic, which has flipped everything upside down. Has the demand increased in the last couple of years that you've seen with your foundation?
Yeah. As soon as COVID, hit in early March, our demand it was already nearly impossible to meet the demand prior to COVID. It's through the roof. We ended up distributing, twice as many diapers last year than we normally do, and we're like not even scratching the surface, unfortunately. But we're just going to keep working until we don't have to anymore.
Does it surprise you that a lot of these moms are moms that you wouldn't think are in this position, Bridget?
Yeah, and especially COVID was kind of the great equalizer, right?
Yeah,
I mean, there's so many families that never had issues with never had these types of problems, and lost jobs or had to care for loved ones, and even people. Remember when you couldn't get toilet paper for months at a time? For so many families, that's their reality every single day. It's not COVID. They're not going to the store and there's no diapers. A lot more people know what that feels like now.
Right.
Who helps, Bridget? Where do the supplies come from that eventually are donated?
So we collect donations from the communities. We have a list on our website of what we're accepting. It does kind of change from time to time, so that's a great place for people to look. But anyone in the community that has items to donate, we accept those. We do a lot of diaper drives. Diapers are our most requested item. We do a lot of other things as well. We do clothing and baby gear and nursing supplies, but diapers are hands down the number one most needed item. So we have a lot of different community organizations and schools and churches and businesses that do diaper drives for us throughout the year. So we get a lot of diapers that way. And we are also part of a couple of national networks of diaper banks. When I started this, I didn't know I was starting a diaper bank. I didn't even know I was starting a nonprofit. It just kind of happened. But as we progressed, we started to learn, there's other people around the country that are doing this as well. And we're actually, there's an organization called the National Diaper Bank Network. So they act as mentors for us. They have an amazing conference that they put on every year that has just been tremendously helpful. They're there if we have questions. They're there if we need, legal documents that we know nothing about, those types of things. But also they have a partnership with a large diaper manufacturer, and they get, I believe it's about 20 million diapers donated to them every year, and they distribute those to their member diaper banks. So last year, I want to say it was maybe April, we got a truckload of about 300,000 diapers from them. There's another organization in Los Angeles called Baby to Baby. They do what we do, except on a much, much larger scale. They have a lot of, celebrity power and those types of things. They're incredible, and because we're in their network, if they get offered they get insane amounts of donations from different corporations and businesses, diapers, clothing, car seats, you name it. They get it for free. They're amazing. But if they have a distribution on the East Coast, they'll say, well, instead of driving this truck across the country, give them to our partners in New Jersey.
Wow.
So we get a lot of things that way as well, which is pretty incredible.
Diaper planes flying in, loaded up with diapers. Bridget, do you work with women who have endured domestic violence and domestic situations? You find that?
We do.
Yeah.
We don't have direct contact with our families anymore, but we do have a number of domestic violence, shelters or programs that we work with across the state.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah. You find yourself in a tough situation after that, and it takes a lot of courage. That's a reason why not a lot of women leave a situation like that, because they're thinking, well, how will I even take care of this child? So good you help them.
Yeah, I mean, you can't imagine being in that situation to begin with, and then on
No.
top of it, having children to worry about, and then on top of that, having to worry about just providing from them. I mean,
Sure.
Every day I'm just grateful for what I have, because I see it every day. So many families are just struggling, and again, these are solvable problems.
Yeah, and diapers and supplies are kind of the ground floor as to what the foundation is about now. It's really grown and blossomed into some other things, advocacy and literacy, and talk about some things that the foundation has branched into in some other areas where you're having an impact.
Sure. So, our big program is called Healthy Start for Babies. So that includes diapers and clothing and strollers, pack and plays, nursing supplies, things like that. We also have a literacy program. So there's an abundance of research about the importance of talking, singing, and reading to your babies from the day they're born, really, and how that impacts them as they get older and enter school, and it really sets them up for success. And I was completely shocked to learn that, I don't know the percentage off of the top of my head, but it was a pretty large percentage. I want to say about a third of families don't have books. They don't have one book in their house. I mean, we probably have 1,000 books.
Exactly.
So we now, try to get we get donations of new books throughout the year, which are amazing. And we also do used books. So every child that we serve every month gets at least, one, usually, hopefully it's a new book and a used book. So that's our literacy program. We have a dental program. We work with some dentists that will send us toothbrushes and toothpaste and things like that. Just very recently, we had an organization. It was a sorority, but the women are older. And they did a drive, and they bought us 35 brand new car seats, which is amazing.
Wow.
So we cannot give out used car seats. There are so many liability issues around car seats. I wish we could, but we can't. So being able to we have 35 brand new ones, which is wonderful, and we just received a small grant to buy, I believe, 100 more. So it's the early beginnings of that program, but we're hoping that's something that we can continue doing, because you don't have to explain why everyone needs a car seat.
No, and they're not cheap.
And they're not cheap.
Nothing's cheap. Formula, diapers, none of it. I would imagine, Bridget, you're not doing it out of your garage anymore.
Luckily, no, we aren't. We have a space in Warren, New Jersey.
Cool.
We have a small warehouse, and we serve the entire state, but the way we operate is through partner agencies. So, for example, domestic abuse shelters.
Right.
They will send us their clients' needs, we will pack bags for them, and then they will come and get them from us. So, but yeah, our physical location now is in Warren.
Yeah, good. Because it would have been a lot of stuff in your garage.
I mean, it kind of morphed from our garage to then it was like our garage and my trunk. And then it was, maybe
In the shed.
Every 3 months we'd get a storage unit donated, but then we'd have to move into a different storage unit, 3 months
Wow.
later. And so it's nice to have everything in one,
That's
one
good.
place. And
Yeah,
it
for
makes our job a
sure.
lot easier to be able
Oh,
to
I'm
access
sure.
what we need and see what we have. And
Yeah.
it took a long time, to get here. It's hard starting a nonprofit. It's really fundraising
It's not easy,
it's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do.
Yeah.
for sure.
Bridget, what does it take to organize and do a local community diaper drive? Can anybody do it?
Absolutely. It's very easy. We actually have a Diaper Drive toolkit on our website, and we'll provide, signage, we'll provide boxes and instructions on how to put that together. It's really easy. So if anyone's interested in that, our website is momshelpingmomsfoundation.org, and you can find it on there.
Cool. And Bert, you were saying Bridget is somewhat of a local hero.
Oh, yes. Talk about being recognized by CNN's Heroes, which is a huge national distinction. And congratulations on that. It was a few years ago, but that was a big leap forward for
Yeah.
the foundation.
I love that show.
It was. My husband actually nominated me. I still can't believe that they chose me.
I love being a mom. It's the most rewarding thing I've ever experienced. On the flip side, the financial burden of having a child is just tremendous. So many people have such an abundance, and so many others strive to afford even the basics. All right, who wants to water?
Thank God. Yes. The things that I got today will allow me to put that money towards my rent or my bills.
Every child deserves a fair start, and if what we're doing helps bridge the gap between people from different backgrounds, even in a small way, then it's definitely worth all the hard work.
Not only was it, personally just so humbling and such an honor, but obviously it was really a widespread news stories. A lot of people saw it, and we started getting a lot of support. And at that time, we were still working out of some donated storage space. Because of the CNN piece, we started to get donations, and we were able to move into our first permanent space. We're now like 5 different spaces past that one.
Oh, gosh.
But it really, it just propelled us forward, and we've kind of been building on that momentum ever since. It was 2014, so it was almost 7 years ago. But that was a really huge honor, and it was really a gift for us as an organization because it got us on the road to where we are today.
Yeah, and when you see the people that you're nominated with as well,
Yes.
it's just so moving. It's one of my favorite shows that I watch. How's your kids with this, Bridget? How's your daughter, like, now that she sees this is your full-time?
Yeah.
Venture now?
My Mother's Day card this year, I think, said reasons that I love my mom, and one was, she runs her own business. And
Wow.
so I
That's
think
so
they're
cool.
proud. I do
Yeah.
bring them in sometimes, and they get to help out a little, and
It's important
it's important.
to teach children that there's other, needs
Yep.
out there.
Yep,
Yeah,
they're
learning
now they're
from-
9 and 10, and they really understand what I do pretty well. But when they were younger, they would say, "Oh, I don't need this teddy bear anymore. Here, give it to the babies." So it is really
Yeah.
a nice thing that they're growing up understanding this, from a young age, because it's important.
Yeah, it sure is. And like you said, now more than ever, I think more people are aware too. This past year has brought out a lot of different emotions, different feelings.
Yep.
And you're right, it definitely leveled the playing field.
Yeah,
Yeah.
certainly.
And later on this year, Bridget, for anyone taking part in the New Jersey Marathon or the Half Marathon, should look for the Moms Helping Moms Foundation race team. Is that right?
Yep. We have a team
Wow.
running. I believe it's October 22nd, but it's the New Jersey Marathon and Half Marathon. There's also a 5K. So if anyone is a runner and is interested in joining our team, we set you up with your own fundraising platform. It's really, really easy. And it's a really nice and fun day. And I've ran it before. It's a nice course. It's pretty flat.
Well, I think we need to get this entire crew here. We all need to
Yeah.
get some comfy shoes, our favorite pair of shorts, and maybe be inspired could have a team. What's the shortest thing? Can we do like a 50-foot walk or something?
Exactly.
Well, I don't know how far we're going to get. 5K might be a little bit out of our league.
walk
But
a 5K.
anybody can form a team and help, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll stand on the sidelines with the drinks. Somebody has to do that.
That should be my job, right, right. And the other ways of giving back, Bridget, you mentioned about warehouse space and being able just to house all the stuff. With that comes employment opportunities, and you're looking to maybe give back to the community, or maybe someone who was a client of Moms Helping Moms, maybe come to work for the organization. If someone's interested in working for you, how does that work?
Yeah, so, we do have a very small staff. Salaries are, one of our biggest expenses, so, but they're very efficient.
I'm sure.
And for our warehouse staff people, we do try to reach out to our partner agencies for recommendations. So one of our warehouse assistants is actually leaving, but we reached out to our partner agencies, and now we have a couple of really great candidates who are moms that we've helped in the past. So that's been kind of a secret dream of mine, as we expand, is to actually give job opportunities to some of the families that we're helping.
That's kind of like big brothers, big sisters, where the littles grow up and they become big brother or sister to other children in need. That's really cool.
Yeah, and it's really powerful to have people on our team that know exactly what we're doing and why we're doing it, and can relate to the families that we're helping.
Yeah, for sure. What ages do you help? Children? Is there a limit to the age, Bridget?
Yeah, so for clothing, we go up to size 5T.
Okay.
So it's basically baby and toddler clothing. But we do the period supplies now, and we do have some nursing things for the mother. So there are we feel like what we're giving to these families is helping the whole household, because not only are some of the products useful for the mothers and maybe older daughters, but we feel that it's raising a financial burden off of them, so they don't have to worry about buying new clothes for their baby, because we can give them to them, and they can take that money and they can go buy groceries or pay their electric bill.
Yeah.
That's kind of our hope, is
Lighten the load.
lightening their load so they can get back on their feet.
Yeah. Bridget, I think you used the key word there when you said hope, because of great foundations and organizations like yours. You really do provide hope for people who are just facing uncertainty, like, what am I going to do? Whether you're a family that's going through a financial crisis, a health issue comes up, maybe a single mom that is just at her wit's end and doesn't think that there's anybody out there helping them. Well, Moms Helping Moms is there for people, and I think that's the best thing you could say about your organization, is like, we just help people. We want to make people's lives as enriched and fulfilling as possible. So if someone wants to learn more about Moms Helping Moms, how do they do it?
So you could visit our website, which is momshelpingmomsfoundation.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, just Moms Helping Moms Foundation. There's information on there not only about the diaper drives, but also about volunteering. So we have volunteers that come in every week. Cool. It was really, really hard during COVID because we couldn't allow any volunteers to come in. And volunteers are our backbone. Like I said, we have a really small staff. So our volunteers are doing the same work that our paid staff members are doing. So that is hugely important for us. So if anybody is interested, there's links to that on our website as well.
All right. Well, Bridget Cutler, Moms Helping Moms Foundation, with you and your organization in the corner of moms everywhere, things are going to be okay. So thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
There's power in moms.
Absolutely.
A lot of power.
I'm Bert Barron.
And I'm Lisa Anderson.
And thank you for joining us on Be Inspired.
I'm Bridget Cutler, the founder and executive director of Moms Helping Moms Foundation, a diaper and baby supply bank serving underserved families in New Jersey. And I would encourage anybody who's listening to, if you have a passion for helping others, there's always something you can do. It doesn't have to be a big thing, but just look around to your community, find a need, and help somebody out.
Next on Be Inspired.
The people who bullied me didn't realize that it kind of started a ricochet of a lot of different people in my life starting to bully me. I was in the bathroom, I had a knife, and I was like, I'm gonna end it. And I said, God, give me one sign that I'm meant to be here. Every single day that I'm here, is a miracle to me. And I asked myself one question, and it was, what makes me happy? And build a life around those things. Hearing someone's story, you never know how it can change the entire trajectory of someone's life. And so I wanted a scholarship that when a student looks at it, they can feel like they have a shot. And I said I didn't want to be known as someone who didn't go back. I wanted to be known as someone who went back and really tried to make a difference for the students there.
Be Inspired with your hosts Bert Barron and Lisa Anderson Puleo. Directed by Rod Weber. Created and produced by Michael R. Doyle. Co-producers Bert Barron, Lisa Anderson Puleo, Rebecca Gruber, and Erwin Sternberg. Executive producers Rod Weber and Sean M. Sternberg. Editor Rebecca Gruber. Filmed at New Beginnings Foundation, Wall Township, New Jersey. Season 5 of Be Inspired is dedicated to the memory of Golden Boy Michael Cammett. Michael was a rising star in the world of professional wrestling who died in a tragic accident this past summer. His memory and legacy live on in the lives he touched, and he will always be remembered by family, friends, and fans.